shield you from the pain, from thunder and the rain. My strength will never change, and my love will never fade away. We could be like fire. No one could put us out. We burn so bright, and they will compromise just to feel the energy of our light. Yeah, we could burn like fire, 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 fire. Yeah, we could burn like fire, 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 fire. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for?
Good morning. A little early this morning. I I couldn't wait to go on, so I'm like, let me just jump on real quick. Good morning. Drinking my HempWorks CBD coffee cold brew that I made. It's really good. From a recipe that I picked up when I was in Sedona using walnut milk. Good morning, Justin Abubble. You made it. I'm also really early this morning. I'm sorry about the light in the background. I did not feel like I usually have my computer in here. So like, this is my office. This is my kitchen. This is where I am. I spend the most of my time is here. And so I have my computer set up in here for like recipes and stuff. And so that I can watch YouTube. I can catch Engaged Reiki in the morning at 8 when that comes on, and when I'm working in the kitchen. So I usually have my stuff in here. Like block it with my head. So when I go in the other room, I have to take my whole computer into the other room with like the cords and all of that. So I just decided this morning I'm gonna leave it in here. Wow, this is burning bright. This candle smells so good. This is a part of my morning self-love ritual. It's a healing chakra candle, and I light it when I'm doing all of my all of this, like, with journaling. I know you had talked about wanting to do that, a little more of that journaling, and it makes such a difference for like the monkey mind, right? So if you have issues meditating and being able to quiet your mind down, and if you're not journaling, I would say definitely incorporate this in your self-love routine every day, because just the act of like getting all of your thoughts and feelings out on paper, it kind of frees up your mind. So I've been doing journaling for a week solid, consistently every day, and sometimes more than once a day. So I'm doing it in the morning, but if I feel like I need to put something on, I need to get something out, like I'll come back in here and I'll sit down midday or in the evening, and I'll put more of my thoughts out on paper. And since I've been doing that, I've noticed that throughout the day, I don't have a lot of chatter going on in my head. And so it really helps. So if you're not doing it, and this is something that you would like to try, I definitely recommend journaling every day. So rising. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was actually going to do a live yesterday. I was late getting up and didn't get to have enough time to do my live in the morning. And then I was going to do another one at 2, and in place of that. And then it's amazing how I get, life gets, I get caught up in all of my mommy duties, and I just don't get around to it. So I ended up canceling that. Fortunately, I only told my friends on Facebook about it. I didn't actually schedule. I did it. I did schedule something. Anyways, I feel flaky as hell, scheduling lives and then not going live. But I know that you all understand, and I appreciate that. And I know this because of how I feel about the people that I watch on YouTube. It's, life, we have responsibilities and we have things to do. And I can honestly say that this is like the one really challenging thing for me is to be able to get up in the morning and take care of the things that I told myself I was going to. And so keeping my word to myself, and this is huge when it comes to self-love, because when you think about the relationship you have with yourself, I mean, take your other relationships for example, and if you had a friend that treated you like shit and lied to you all the time, or maybe not intentionally lied to you but always went back on their word and was extremely flaky and didn't show up when they said they were going to, and they talked really negative to you, and was very and criticizing, like, would you want to be around that person? Would you consider them a friend or an enemy? And we have to think about the relationship we have with ourselves in the same way. We have to cultivate that friendship, and we have to cultivate that love. And that means showing up for and keeping your word to yourself. If you said you were going to do something, or you said you weren't going to do something, like, it's so important to, recognize the patterns that you have and work on them. And they can be hard to break. Those patterns can be, really embedded in there. This morning I was getting up and going, okay, like, I know I have to get on and do this live. I don't have to, but I do, because it's something that I agreed to within myself. And this is so challenging for me to do it. So it's definitely something that I need to be working on, getting up and being on camera and being in front of an audience. I think the hardest thing that I have is like, what am I going to talk about? And then I like was feeling really not good enough this morning. And I'm actually, putting that in my journal, like my energy update, how I'm feeling, like, and, like, check in with myself. How am I feeling? Why do I feel this way? I don't know exactly where it comes from. I mean, I do, but I don't know specifically what situation it comes from. But I mean, it comes from childhood. From not, we all have this um, within ourselves, not feeling good enough unless you've done the work. But regardless of how you got to that point, it all boils down to not feeling good enough. And it's not true. You are perfect, whole, and complete as you are. And you have this little, like, 3-year-old child inside of you that needs to be loved. If you've watched my intro, I actually have like pictures of within that, like, facing the shadow. And then, like, you start to see, as you start facing the shadow, you realize it's actually just this little child that needs to be loved. And the gratitude and self-love affirmation meditation that I shared with you all a few episodes ago is a really good way to acknowledge your inner child and love on that inner child. So it's the Power Thoughts Meditation Club. It's on Spotify. I can actually drop the link whenever I get off of here. I'll put it in my description for you. Gratitude and self-love, from Power Thoughts Meditation Club. And so that one, I did do it for like 3 years, every day for like 3 years, and I haven't obviously been doing it lately. Um, might want to get back into doing that. It's a good one. It's a really good one. It changed my life doing that for 3 years. So I've been initiated into forgiving and loving myself. And self-forgiveness is really hard to do. I mean, you think of forgiving, oh, I have to forgive all of the relationships in my life, and you don't acknowledge the relationship with yourself as needing to be you need to be forgiven for all of the things that you've been through, or all of the lies that you've told yourself, or whatever it is. That is an act of self-love, is forgiveness. And You're not going to be able to move forward in life until you start to love yourself and forgive yourself. What was I talking about? I was like talking about something to my husband, and that's where the idea for the title Rising came. Doing all of this work, you are right where you are supposed to be. And, having grace and having grace and compassion for yourself, right where you are. I know we tend to want to be further on our journey. We're like, I want to be there already, like instantaneously. You cannot sit in a chair and go in the other room, like with the snap of a finger. There is a process. You have to get up and walk to the other room. And so there is this learning experience, and things that are challenging for you, they are what you're supposed to be working on. And there's a lesson that you need to learn in that. You incarnated, you chose everything that's going on in your life for yourself because you knew that there is a lesson to be learned in it. We came here to learn lessons. Earth is a school. And nothing is wasted, and you're right where you're supposed to be. So have some compassion for yourself. And you are on this ascension path. You are rising every single day just by becoming aware of your emotions, and stopping those reactions in their track. And maybe you reacted and you blew up and you walked away, but then you catch it right then. You don't let it sit and stew all night. And you always address, when you have overreacted. I do that with my family. When I do something, I always come back. That's the one thing that I think that, my dad, because of the way he was, and he would blow up and be a complete asshole, and he wouldn't apologize. He would never come back and apologize. My mom hated that. I mean, like, it was like whenever he'd come back around, he acted like everything was fine, yet we were all walking on eggshells. And that's just not how I am. And I think that because he was like that, I decided to do the complete opposite with my daughter. Being a single mom, I would always tell my daughter when I would, I was wrong. I was wrong for treating her a certain way. I was wrong for overreacting or reacting to something that she did. And that it was not, that we always go, oh, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. And I just want you to know that that's not the right way to be. That's really good. That is the first step, is to become aware of what, you and how you respond to things and what you're thinking and what you're feeling at any given moment, and be aware of that. So yeah, if you have somebody in your life that you've reacted to, always remember that this is when you catch it and you go and you say, look, this was wrong of me, and I just want you to know what I was really feeling in that moment, and that it wasn't you, it was actually me. It really begins this healing process. And I started doing that a long time ago, years ago. And it's just amazing how far I've come. My daughter will tell you, my oldest will tell you, I am not the same person. Our relationship is so much better. And I know that it's because of all of the work that I've been doing. Shameless plug here, HempWorks changed my life, because I've done this work for on myself for such a long time, but I only got so far. And when I started using CBD, like something just clicked inside me. I mean, me getting on and doing videos, this was not happening. I even did this, tried to do it a year ago, about a year and a half ago, to start doing videos. And I just couldn't, get myself on camera. I was too judgmental of myself. I wasn't good enough. It's slowly starting to change. The more I do it, the easier it gets. But I believe 100% it's from, starting CBD. I've used CBD in the past, but like not consistently. And I didn't do any research on it. I had a friend that was trying to tell me about it, and I was just not even listening to her. And when, I got turned on to this from watching YouTube, I was like, I need to learn more about this. This stuff is like, we talk about suppressed technologies all the time and, like the new age community. And I believe 100% that phytocannabinoids, that we get through the cannabis plant it's a suppressed technology. It's 100%. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. I'm sure that that's going to change soon. So keep on the lookout for that. So the CBD oil that you can get is too expensive. There's nothing that you can order online. I have no idea anything about that, being overseas and how that stuff works. I'm really sorry. I would definitely recommend getting something that whatever you can get something and start using it, because it makes such a difference. Like, I want to say, like, it's not necessarily about HempWorks. I recommend whatever you do. If you do your research on the company, on the that's manufacturing the CBD that you're looking at, and definitely get on CBD. Regardless, I know that it can be a little expensive at times, but it's so beneficial for you. So is smoking cannabis illegal then? Curious. What was I going to say? So whatever, I'm telling you about HempWorks because that's the company that I really like. I've done a lot of research on them, and their products are, up to par. But if you're not wanting to if you don't want to buy from HempWorks because it's a network marketing company, then find something. But do your research on it, and definitely get on something, or reach out to me if you want some information on HempWorks. I would be more than happy to share everything I know. And that's made a difference in my life. That's made a difference in my, regulating my emotions. I don't know what happened. I can't even explain it to you about how I'm able to get on and do these videos, but it's helped me in so many ways. Anybody that knows me personally knows that this is a huge shift in me. So still legal, but no one takes any notice. Illegal. Gotta be able to read right. Yes, it's still illegal, but nobody takes any notice. Well, that's good. Smoking cannabis has its benefits as well. It's medicinal. It's not a drug. They have lied to us, and they have indoctrinated us with the idea that marijuana, and they gave it that name. And this was a whole like propaganda campaign back when, I don't even know, like back when they first started doing it. It was about propaganda and making you believe that it's a drug, when in fact it's actually medicine. And it has so many benefits. Even smoking the cannabis plant has medicinal benefits, and you're going to get the compounds from smoking it. If you can get it, I would say drink it as a tea instead of smoking it. It's better for you. Putting the smoke in your lungs isn't all that good for you. And there probably will be health consequences for those people that smoke it, regularly and excessively. But ingesting it is perfectly safe. So yeah, tea is. I actually heard a Rastafarian give that this explanation about why drinking it as a tea or ingesting it is much more beneficial for you than smoking it. I am scared to eat brownies. My husband, we have this thing that we can make oils, and I could do everything. I can make all types of edibles with this magic thing that he bought. It's called Magic, the brand, but it's for making edibles. And so we take and we boil the cannabis with butter, or with ghee, and then we have the ghee left over with the compounds in it. And I made some brownies and I ate some, and I ate a little bit too much. I ate brownies and ice cream, and I really wanted the brownies and ice cream. It wasn't really about the, getting a high, and I ate too much and I was sick. It was like having, I don't know if you've ever gotten drunk and like that dizziness that when you like lay down and then move, you get really dizzy. I was so dizzy and felt nauseous all night long. Even when I woke up to go to the bathroom, it was terrible. I'm like, yeah, I kind of got a little too much. That's the thing with edibles, is that you can't really measure out the dosage. You have no idea how much you're getting when you eat it in that form. Unless you're buying an edible from a dispensary. Yeah, it's really funny. I was like, done. I'm like, yep. I'm just gonna leave this to my husband. You can have all the brownies you want, baby. I am good. So you can't really measure that out unless you're getting it from a dispensary, and they are in a lab working with that, and they know what's going into each individual piece that is being manufactured. I never got around to explaining to you what the whole thing with the name of this broadcast, Rising. We are rising. We are ascending. We are doing the inner work. We are right where we're supposed to be in our lives and on our journey, on our spiritual path, and we're waking up. There's like more and more layers unraveling here. And, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you that the key to all of this is self-love. It all comes down to self-love. And I've been working on this for such a long time, but life moves in a spiral. And so you will revisit the same issues on a deeper level as you get closer and closer to the center. And I've been doing this work for the last week. I've really been immersing myself in, this. I have a self-love, I have a workbook for women. I'm reading another book by Louise Hay. What is the book called? So I recommend, if you're interested and you want to get on this self-love healing path that I am on with me, Louise Hay, and her book is called, it's like rolling. How to Change. That's on chapter 7. You can heal your life. It scrolls across the screen, so I can't wait. I have to wait until it like gets there. I'm sorry. It's like this, right? It's scrolling across the screen. Yeah, so You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and she talks about a lot about self-love. So that is a really good book to read also. So, and I'm doing so I got to meet, well, this is the second time. I know Bridget Nielsen. If anybody is familiar with her work, I did 2 of her retreats, one in September and then one again in April. And I'm also in her Soul Light Collective group. And so I have access to Teachable and all of the stuff that she's putting up there. And so I'm actually doing her course as well, which is a self-love, activation, like activate your spiritual faculties and all of this. Like, I am so ready to tap into my intuition. I've always been very intuitive, but like this whole thing with being able to see energy and sense energy and, do like healing, all of the healing modalities and energy work. And like, I really find it very fascinating, but I'm not like, I'm not that yet. I can't see energy. I guess I can sense energy and, very subtly, but I'm just ready to sharpen those abilities and those skills and really tap into those powers, because we're like, they're like superpowers. Come on. I mean, when I started learning about this, the fact that it's not bullshit, it's not fantasy like we've been led to believe, I was like, man, this is really cool. So like we basically live a Harry Potter life and we're like witches and we have all of these powers. um I don't do a lot of visualization, only because this is, the work. And, I used to have a very vivid imagination as a child. And as we grow up, we are kind of like jolted out of that. But I know that visualization and see our imagination, that is our ability to create, to co-create. And so I know, I'm very aware that visualization is a powerful tool. And be honest, I'm going to give you excuses. Like it's hard being in this 3D existence with a 3D family while I am ascending, through 4D, trying to reach this 5D level. And it's difficult. It's difficult having family around. And so I've have been really trying to focus on myself and really like trying to communicate my feelings. And I get really overwhelmed. So going from having a 12-year-old, I mean, she's like self-sufficient at this point, to back to having two very small children. I have a 3-month-old baby and a 16-month-old baby. And it's a challenge. I went from being a single mom to having a family, like boom. I look back now and I'm like, it's only been 2 years and I still have two more kids already. Like, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking about this before I made this decision. So for those of you that do not have children and maybe you want to, just know that when you have a child, it's not about, you're having this child for you. You're not having a child for you, for this little thing to love you and for you to love. Like you're giving your life to this baby and you're raising them. And so you have to be prepared for that. So think that one through before you go have any babies. Yes, I am ready. It's funny. I don't know if you're familiar with David Wilcock's work. And if you're not, I highly recommend you go check his channel out, because he did some recent broadcasts that will really explain like religion and even Revelations, what the Bible talks about. But all of these ancient religions all talk about this solar flash. And I think that that's what the Bible talks about in Revelations as well. It just gives it in a different context, and it's kind of like scary, but it's not a scary thing. So I've always felt, when I was a Christian and I was really immersed in like that religious Christianity, that I was going to be left behind. That I would, if you've heard the series Left Behind, I read those books, I watched the movies. I was like, I'm going to end up being someone that's left behind. I'm not going to go in the rapture. Like I've always believed that, but I used to think it was because I wasn't good enough as a Christian and I would be left behind. But now I'm like, this is why I've always felt like I'd be left behind. I am going to be left behind, but it's not a bad thing. I'm going to be left behind because I'm going to be able to hold the light. And that anybody that's raptured, they're being protected. They're being taken off planet. No. I was thinking about this, what you're saying, because I had just seen the other day, somebody had posted something on TikTok, or my daughter brought it in and showed it to me, where somebody's home camera that was in their kitchen caught on camera the drawer being like, with the silverware being pulled out really fast, and then silverware flying out of the drawer across the room. And I was like, holy crap. And then you watch it and like the door moves. And I'm like, wow. So no, I can't say that I personally have ever had a ghost encounter, but it's real and they're not, it's so, I don't know fully what I believe on this because I don't know what's true or what's not, but I don't believe that people die and then don't pass over. It has something to do with a shell of their energy that was left, but it's not an actual soul that didn't cross over. If that makes sense. Maybe share with me what you believe. I'd love to know. Yeah, having babies makes a big difference for the fact that I can't get shit done on a regular basis. And I get overwhelmed and I'm like, when I start getting overwhelmed, it's like, bring it back in. It's like, this is, because it's such a challenge for me, this is the work. This is the spiritual path. Like, I tend to want to be somewhere else. I tend to want, like, oh my God, if I could do this, I would love to go live in a monastery in the mountains somewhere and just practice my spiritual, like, you know, all of these spiritual things, meditation and stuff. But that's not the spiritual path for me. Like, I chose this to incarnate and have this dynamic here to learn lessons. And so I was walking in the store the other day, yesterday. I say the other day. I was walking in the store yesterday, and it was so weird. My perspective has shifted dramatically. So I'm noticing people. And have you ever seen that game Sims? Like, my daughter played that a long time ago. Or any kind of video game where it's like everybody's on their own spiritual path. Some people are very much asleep, but everybody chose to incarnate here to learn lessons. And so there's no judgment, you know, for these other people that are walking around with masks on. And I used to really, I feel deeply for the people that are in a really unhealthy circumstances in their lives, and they're overweight. I feel for them when I see the people riding around on those little like scooter things in the store because they're so overweight they can't walk. It breaks my heart, and I want to help people like that, but I'm learning that you cannot force help on people because everyone's on their own path. And you're aware of it. And I can help if somebody comes to me, but I have to let those people come to me because they're not going to change if I go to them. It's not, they're not seeking that. And so it can be really hard. But what I was getting to is like this whole perspective of, everybody being on their own spiritual path, and that, you're all in this game together, but everybody has their own like mission in this game, right? It was cool when I was walking in the store and thinking about that. It was just weird that, how I could see it. Okay, I'm catching up. Hold on. A lot of comments. God made sure I was by myself while I was awakening. Very wise. Everyone thinks I'm a raving lunatic, but I'm okay with it. Oh, we are all crazy. It's okay. My whole family thinks I'm crazy. I have, except for, I say my whole family, not my husband or my daughter or my mom. And that's all right here, in my physical life. My other family, like my siblings, my sister and my older brother, they are like, you have lost your shit. My cousin in Florida, she has always been on this, and I used to preach to her about Jesus and about but do you believe Jesus died on the cross for our sins? But do you believe Jesus is God incarnate? Like really trying to preach to her, and she is amazing and never got upset with me and just listened and really didn't try to get too deep into it with me, because when you talk about religion with somebody that is not into that, like they can be defensive. And so I learned everything that I've learned on my own. And then, now my cousin Kristen and I are very close because we're on the same page, but everybody else thinks I'm crazy. That's okay. Isn't it cool to know, like, when all the truth comes out, you're going to be able to be like, I knew what I was talking about. Like I told my dad before he passed away, I was like, you're going to know the truth on the other side, and you're going to know that I was right. And that, you know, he's in a place of healing now, and he knows the truth. You know, when I was younger, my dad told me we lived on a lake, and the rain would come across the lake, and the sun would still be where our house was on the other side. The sun would be shining into the water, so it would create rainbows all the time. There was a rainbow at the edge of the water, like the end of the rainbow was literally touching the shore. My dad was like, run down there and you can stand in the rainbow. I think I was like 12 or whatever. I ran down there, and he said he could see the colors of the rainbow over me. And he said that he always said that I was blessed because of that. I don't think that I was blessed because of that. I think that that was like maybe showing him that I had a special purpose or whatever. Thought that was cool. Just sharing that with you. Ooh, those are good books. I have all of his books. If you haven't checked out his channel, go watch his channel, because he did just post some new videos within the last couple of weeks that are current events. Like that's where I get my news from. I get my news from people on YouTube, like the Truthers and David Wilcock, and I literally wait for him to post something because he does his research. So like I know I don't have to go look it up because he did all the research. I have the Ascension Mysteries. I have, what are they called? The Synchronicity Key, the Source Field Investigations, which is the first one, the Synchronicity Key, the Ascension Mysteries, and Awakening in the Dream. And I have them all. I have Awakening in the Dream, the paperback book, but I have all the other books, including Awakening in the Dream, on Audible. Really, I would love to see that. Wow. It's intense. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I'm living in the house that my great grandmother died in. It's a manufactured home, and like this kitchen was burnt out because my uncle ended up letting this elderly African American lady move in. She was not the cleanest, and she let her grandsons move in with her, and they were drug dealers, and they just completely trashed the house. They burnt the kitchen out, like they caught it on fire. So we had to like redo the whole kitchen. So all new counters. My husband never fully put the counters in. There's like pieces. I can't even, there's like a piece right here and over here, and there's a piece right there that's missing that he didn't do. You know, I'm grateful for what I have. You know, it's cool to be in the house that was my great grandmother's. And this property that we live on has been in my family for over 200 years. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know what I would do if like my great grandmother came to me or something, or like started, if things were moving in the house. I don't know. I'd have to reach out to somebody because it would probably freak me out. We're all in this together, y'all. What an amazing thing that we can you know, come together on this platform, you know, and we've all found each other. Do you know your blood type? I do. I don't remember what it is right off the top of my head. Why do you ask, Anne? Yeah, I would definitely have to reach out to somebody. And I know someone, Bridget Nielsen, if again, she's a content creator. She's all over YouTube. She has a website. She's you know, the whole star seed and hybrid children. She's big on that. But she shared a video one time, and I actually asked her about it when I was in Sedona, and she was like, yeah, it was intense. She shared a video about actually going into a home that was haunted with another woman that was a lot more seasoned than herself, and clearing the energy out of the house. So she shared that with me, and I was like, that is crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, like, you shouldn't be afraid of it, but like there's so much, that they put out there on, TV shows and movies that, make you want to be afraid of it. Yeah, I'm an RH. I am an RH. So where did you find that information, Anne? I would love to know. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check you have a channel? I'm gonna have to check it out. Whenever I get off here, I'll go and check it out. I am negative. RH negative. Well, I'm glad I got on early. Otherwise, I would just be getting on right now. What is up with my camera? It is like not doing. I am going to be getting some better equipment. But I know, again, I watch other YouTube creators and they're doing their shows on, their computer cameras and yeah, I'm an A. Now that you say that, Anne, I'm an A negative because they always want me to, when I have babies, they want me to do the RhoGAM shot, which I've done research on and you don't need it. And so what I'll say about that is that with my second daughter in the hospital, when I had a hospital birth, they tried. I mean, like they were trying to get me to take this shot and I refused because I've done my research on it. It's basically just a V against your baby's blood. So I wouldn't do it. And they're like, well, if you don't, then if you get pregnant again, you're going to have a miscarriage. I'm like, I don't plan on having more kids. I'll take that chance. And so, I left the hospital and then you all know the story, I ended up pregnant again. So obviously, I didn't need it. And the whole point of that, back in like the 80s, they started doing that, but that's only for if the blood mixes. And if you're not having a traumatic birth and the baby doesn't bleed, then the blood's not going to mix, so many things that they push on people without, informed consent. Makes me mad. And my babies are extremely healthy. Just so y'all know, they don't even have pediatricians. They've never been to the doctor and they're perfectly fine. That's my divine light. No, it's the light back there. I don't know. This kitchen's really fucked up. Like, so there's another light that's up here that doesn't work, and it would actually give a lot better light, and it wouldn't be right. But that one's like right there at the sink, and so I don't have another light, and it just gives terrible lighting during the day too. Like during the day especially because it's the windows right there, and so it's terrible. I work with it. I am so grateful for this home that I live in. You can't like hate the life that you have or the things that you have. You have to give thanks for everything that you have so that you open up the opportunity for the universe to bring more good to you. My husband used to like call this house a piece of shit. He's like, I hate this piece of shit. I'm like, we don't pay rent. This is my family's property. We live on my family's property, 48 acres. We are, we went from living in a house in Athens, paying like $1,200 a month in rent to living here right across the street from my mom for free. We just had to do all the work. We obviously paid to renovate the house. And so we don't have to pay any rent now. And we got to, everything that we wanted in here. We put everything that we wanted, and some things that maybe he didn't, but I got to choose. It was my choice. Ooh, I'm gonna do that. I actually really want, now there's a girl that I'm gonna have on eventually. She's a hairdresser, but she is amazing. So I think she has like 3 kids, and she is a hairdresser, and she is an artist. She's the one that did my hair. I went to Florida and I came back with it looking metallic. She fixed it for me. The color was terrible and the cut was all jacked up. But she makes these stained glass things with crystals. Like, she will post pictures of like what she's doing, and then she'll post like a finished one, and I'm just like, wow, I love what she's doing. I would love to actually buy some stuff from her, and then I thought, like, I could do it myself. I need to go get some, like, I guess there's little kits that you can buy. And so yeah, I would love to do, maybe, I keep thinking like maybe not in this house, because my husband and I, we want to build a house on this property. We're going to buy this property from my uncle, and we're going to build a house. And I would love to do stuff like that. I guess I can start now. Why not? Like, it being creative and creating, like, this is in our nature. And I am very artistic. I can draw very well. I haven't done it for a very long time, but you see the other set that I use for my show with the rainbow pictures that I have behind me. I painted those. I've been going to this place. It's called Artini's. It's like where you can go and you can paint. You can do like a little paint class, and they teach you how to paint a picture, and you can sip on wine. So I've done that, over the years, and have a lot of pictures that I could hang up in my house. But I would love to be able to hang big, or have like big crystals, or hang crystals, or do the stained glass. I have like a big pack of canvases. They're like, a lot. I just need to get some good paint and find the time to do that stuff, because when the children get a little bit older, I keep reminding myself I'm in like a season of my life. And right now they require a lot of attention, but as they get older, it's going to get easier. And take it in, because I was telling my husband how they grow so fast. You don't even realize it. Children grow so fast. Like, my daughter is already a year and a half, and my son is 3 months. That's like, it goes by, and before you know it, they're not your baby anymore. Like, when I gave birth, the night I gave birth to my son, my daughter changed. Personality wise, she changed like that. After I had my son, like, before I had my son, I had a baby. She was my baby. And then I had my son, and she was a toddler. And personality, she changed. She didn't want mommy anymore. She wants daddy now. It's crazy. Like, all she wanted was me when she was a baby. So they grow up so fast. And now, holding her in my arms, she's this big child, and she's not a baby. It's just like, I know she's going through her phases, but it's like, I feel like I don't have a really close relationship with her anymore. And that's just because she's changing and growing. And I want to like tear. I miss my baby. But they grow up so fast, and life will get easier for me. And so, for all of those moms out there that find it hard, that it is difficult for you to find time for yourself, it gets easier. But if you have older children and you're still not finding time for yourself, I definitely encourage you to put yourself first, and make that time every day to move your body, and to pay attention to your thoughts. Because in the book that I'm listening to, You Can Heal Your Life, she was talking about how I completely lost my train of thought. Wow. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. Must have not been important. It's still not coming back to me. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm still trying to like recall what it was that I was trying to talk about. It'll probably come to me later and I'll end up sharing it with you in a later broadcast. But we've been on for quite some time now, and now I can get my day started. So thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you so much for joining in on the chat and for, creating this dialogue with me, because it really makes my day when all of you show up for me. I truly, truly appreciate it. So if you are interested in, finding something that can help to raise your vibration, that can help you on your spiritual path, that can help you on your healing journey, I highly recommend looking into CBD, any brand of CBD, if you're opposed to, using HempWorks because it's a network marketing company. But we've done the research. I've done the research already, and I'm using it because it's a really quality company and they make quality products that are clean. So if you're interested, I definitely recommend looking into CBD. I love all of you so much. I will do my best to show up every day. If for some reason I have a scheduled live and I don't show up, it's because I have things going on or something going on within myself. But I will always come back. This is my work. So I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out to me, because we are all in this together. I love you.